Hi, I'm Beth Azor. People call me the canvassing queen. So I get a lot of times questions from you guys that say, how do I overcome this objection? How do I overcome that objection? And I want to talk about a few of those. So I had a student, one of my coaching clients came to me and said, I have a shopping center in a very small ancillary market, not a lot of population. I think the population was about 4,000 people. And she said, no nationals want to come. How do I overcome that objection that the national retailers don't want to come to my market? And I said, her name was Nancy, and I said, Nancy, that's just an objection you're not going to be able to overcome. The nationals look for bigger pockets of population. There's a few that will look at markets with 4,000 people, maybe like a Dollar General, but she was targeting Starbucks and Panera and Chipotle. They're not going to demographics that low. So my advice to her and to all of you is remove the objection. What do I mean by that? They're not the right target. You guys are going after the wrong target. You're always going to get a no. It's nothing personal. It's not that they don't like the project, but they can't succeed in a demographic of such limited population. So remove the objection, meaning stop targeting those tenants. And now let's take a look at who's in the market now. There are probably some very strong mom and pops either in that market, and what we did is we expanded her geographic area to 4 other submarkets around her, similar low population, but we actually started finding some businesses that had been in those towns, those smaller markets, and having success that she ended up leasing to. So sometimes there's an objection. It's not even an objection that you can overcome. So think about that when you're getting an objection. A client of mine was developing a shopping center, actually a town center in Clemson, South Carolina. He had built a home development, and one of the requirements of the city allowing him to build the home development, the residential development, he had to build a town center. And he called me up and he said, I need some help with the retail. I need to bring retail into this town center. And the project was a few miles outside of Clemson. So we did our due diligence. We canvassed the heck out of Clemson, could not find anyone. Our goal was to get a steak restaurant to kind of anchor this smaller 30,000 square foot town square that was part of this residential development. So we went to every restaurant in Clemson, but they all saw this project, which was a few miles outside of Clemson, as an objection. So after a couple of days of hitting the Clemson market, I said, what's the next city over? Let's go to another city who then we can advertise and promote Clemson to this other surrounding city. So they said, when the leasing agent said Greenville. So I said, great. As we're driving over to Greenville, we start Googling and going to Yelp to find out what restaurant owners had multiple locations in Greenville. And we actually found a guy who had 3 restaurant concepts in Greenville. He had a steak restaurant, he had a seafood restaurant, and he had a salad concept. And his name was Rick Irwin, for those of you that are familiar with the Clemson market. So we called him, or we Facebook texted him, and we said, hey, we're coming to Greenville. We'd love to meet with you about our brand new project in Clemson. And he met with us, and we ended up doing the deal. He has a successful steak restaurant, which anchored my client's town square development in Clemson. He didn't see it as an objection. He saw it as coming into the Clemson market. So sometimes you have to think, it was an objection for the Clemson people because the project was outside of Clemson. They couldn't wrap their brains around that. But someone going into another market, they didn't see it as an objection. So you need to change the focus of who you're speaking to. Another example would be elbow spaces, right? These are the space that you've got a center that's an L-shaped center, and it's the space in the corner. If I told you that as I travel around the country, 90% of the vacancies around the country are in the elbow spaces. So what I like to do is let's say I go to Fargo, North Dakota for a client and I'm canvassing, hopefully not in January, and we are canvassing and there's a 6,000 square foot vacant elbow. Who do I want to go after? Do I want to go after the guy in the end cap who's going to have a huge objection about going in an elbow? Of course not. Why would I want to have to deal with those objections? Remove the objections. Go to every tenant in every elbow in Fargo, because they won't have the objection. They're in the elbow. Hopefully they're succeeding in the elbow. So don't try to talk someone into a situation. You will have objections. Meet the objection head on and deal with it that way. Go find tenants that are already in the elbows or tenants that already don't have a lot of parking and talk to those tenants and get them to come to those situations. Those are my ideas for overcoming objections. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching the video. If you like these videos, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. If you want more of me, check me out on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. We also have a monthly book club that all of the book club calls are on Anchor, the podcast. I have about 50 other podcasts on Anchor as well. And if you're a female and want to invest, check out January 9th. We are holding our first commercial real estate investment symposium for women. It is going to blow your socks off. I hope to see you there. Don't forget, like and subscribe.